Hey, welcome back guys. So today on this video, we are talking about credit cards, and more specifically, I'm going to quickly give you a rundown on a question that I've been getting a lot recently on one of my other videos, and that is, how do you accept credit cards? So let's go ahead and talk about this. First off guys, this is going to be a really quick video, but I'll be sure to go over a couple of different options that you have if you're looking to accept credit cards for your business. But why would you be wondering how to accept credit cards? Well, that's pretty easy. Whether you're selling in person or online, a lot of customers like to use their credit cards because of the protections that it provides, also the simplicity of payments. Whatever the case is, it's not a really easy question to answer because it depends on a lot of different things, but I'm going to give you an overview. So first thing you want to consider if you want to know how to accept credit cards is what type of business you're running. So for example, if you're running a restaurant, the way that you are going to accept credit cards is going to be a lot different than if you are selling digital products online. And also it's going to be a lot different if you provide a mobile service-based business. So there's basically three different ways you can accept credit cards. The first is going to be in-store credit card payments. So this is going to be something like if you were at a restaurant and you're going to be having a lot of different clients coming and going out of your store, you're going to need what's called a point of sale system. And that way your clients can go ahead and swipe or tap their credit card to pay for your services. The second method of accepting credit card payments is going to be online payments. So this is going to be something more like Square, like PayPal, Shopify. These are services that you can accept payments online if you are selling a service or you're selling some sort of software, or even if you're selling products online. And the third most common way to accept credit cards is going to be mobile payment processing. So usually this is going to be an attachment to your cell phone or to an iPad or something like that. And that way you're not tied down to a terminal, like say at McDonald's. You can bring the terminal with you with your mobile device. And this would be something you would use for something like a catering service, maybe a notary service, or if you go from market to market, like some sort of a trade show. So you're going to have to decide on which one of those categories fits you best. Now, one thing you want to consider when you're wondering how to accept credit cards is the way that you accept credit cards creates more risk. So if you have a terminal like McDonald's and your customers bring in their physical credit card and they swipe the credit card, it's considered a more secure transaction. There's less chances of fraud as opposed to somebody just inputting credit card information in through the internet. And because of that, when you are considering how to accept credit cards, if you have a terminal, it is going to be a little bit more cumbersome, and then also it's going to cost more for the terminal itself, but you can usually negotiate a lower transaction fee with the provider. So we'll talk about that first. So if you're going to have in-store credit card payments, you will have to get in touch with a company that processes credit cards for you. So these are called merchant service providers. So the big banks like what you're used to, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, they do have a section inside their bank that does merchant account services, but there are other companies that you may have never heard of, like Fiserv, that happens to be one of the largest processors for credit cards. And basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to call 3 or 4 of these companies, tell them a little bit about your business, and then they're going to run an application based on your credit, based on how secure of a business you're running, also how much transactions you anticipate running through their credit card merchant services. And based off that information, they will give you a quote on the prices that they're going to offer you. If you need help reading those quotes, go back and watch my other video that describes that in detail, because the pricing for accepting credit cards can vary widely depending on the merchant service provider, and then also depending on your specific situation. So once you have chosen a merchant service provider, if you are going to be processing credit cards in store like a McDonald's, and you've chosen somebody, they would then install a POS system, which is called a point of sale. Like again, it's like the ones you would see inside of a McDonald's. So that way your customers can go ahead and swipe their credit card or tap their credit card, however they're going to use it. And the credit card is going to get processed. That money gets added up into batches. And then once your fees are taken out, then that money would go into your bank. So that's a really, really oversimplified process of accepting credit card payments in store. If you need help setting that up, be sure to leave a comment below, and then I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So that's the first way that you can accept credit cards. Now, if you are a mobile service, like let's say a notary or a catering service, that's not going to work because you're going to be on the road. So the next thing we're going to talk about is mobile payment processing. So mobile payment processing have a lot of competitors right now. And basically what's going to happen is you would have to apply for an account with these providers, and that could be PayPal, it could be Square, all these different providers that provide you basically a little credit card reader, goes along with your cell phone or your iPad, and you take it with you on the road. And the same thing with these providers, really depending on how you run the credit card, the prices could change. So if you're going to manually enter these transactions in, so if somebody over the phone tells you their credit card number and you type it into your mobile and then you process the card, a lot of times those fees are going to be higher than if you actually swipe the card or tap the card with your mobile credit card reader. And the reason for that, once again, it is based off of risk. So if you are swiping the card or you are tapping with the chip, then it shows that the card is there with you. So that is considered a more secure transaction. So that could be a lot cheaper for that particular transaction. Now, if you're running a transaction for $5, the difference between 1% or 3% is not really a big deal. However, if you happen to be a mobile service provider and you're running transactions for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, that 1% transaction fee versus 3% can make a huge difference. So when you are shopping for a mobile payment processing service, you want to make sure that you identify what the fees are between those different various types of transactions. So those are pretty easy to set up. Usually you can get those approved within a day or so, and then you just have to wait for the reader to be mailed to you. So maybe another 3 or 4 days. So you can be good to go and start accepting credit cards usually within the week. And the third and final way that we're talking about how to accept credit cards on this video is going to be online payments. So same thing with PayPal and Square. They do have an online payment portal set up as well. So this is going to be something for like if you take phone orders. So if somebody calls in the credit card, or if you have a website like Squarespace or Shopify, the users or your clients can go ahead and just type in their credit card number and their credit card information, and you can accept their credit cards that way. And a common theme with the other 2 ways that we talked about how to accept credit cards, the fees are going to vary widely on this. Now with online payments, depending on what your portal is, sometimes they will charge a monthly fee in order to get access to online payments. But if you pay a monthly fee, usually the percentage of the transaction is going to go down. A lot of these online payment portals like PayPal or Stripe, if you're going to implement that onto your website, if you're doing something like e-commerce, they will have minimum requirements of security for your website, such as an SSL. The nice thing about signing up for online payments is a lot of the regulatory work is done for you, because when you install these onto your website, oftentimes you will not have access to the credit card information. So that alleviates you from having to keep long records about your transactions for your online payments, because providers like PayPal or Stripe or Square, they're going to hold all of the transactions for you in a secure location. So that way it kind of keeps you out of the loop. You just receive the payment. So there you have it, guys. Be sure to check my video description. I'll try to leave a couple of referral links to some of these service providers that I recommend. So if you're wondering how to accept credit cards, that is 3 normal ways that you can accept credit cards for your business. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.